Shall we begin?
Hello everyone and welcome back to Wildstar Weekly. My name is Philetic and this is your weekly news show for all things Wildstar. I do apologise there was no show last week. I was busy the whole weekend doing university work, so I couldn't squeeze a show into it, so I just thought, hey, I'll do a roundup of the last 2 weeks in this show. So that's what you've got to look forward to today. So let's get right into things.
Bring it on! You okay?
Carbine hosted a press event last week. We knew about the event but no details on why it was happening. As I'm sure you know by now, it was all about the path system. Wildstar Wednesday of last week revealed the final paths for the game. The scientist and settler will meet the soldier and explorer in the world of Nexus. This series was met by a new dev speak.
This series is about taking a closer look at Wildstar's gameplay. So let's jump headfirst into one of our biggest features, paths.
Excuse me. There.
Hello Internet, Magic Man here from GamebreakerTV, bringing you a special edition gameplay video. Now if you've been watching the site all day, you've probably seen a ton of Wildstar information falling, and you probably already know that I was fortunate enough to take a ride out to San Francisco and get some hands-on time with Wildstar, in particular the settler and scientist path.
What is up, you guys? This is Lucas with GamesRadar.com, and I am here with
Jeremy Gaffney. I'm executive producer for Carbine, working on Wildstar.
Right on. So today you guys are actually showing the scientist and settler paths for the first time. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely.
Hi, Andrew from Connected Digital World here. We recently got to play some of NCSoft's new MMO game Wildstar, developed by Carbine Studios. As well as playing the game, we got the opportunity to sit down with Stefan Frost, who you might recognise his voice from the DevSpeak videos.
Hi guys, I'm sitting here with Stefan Frost from Carbine Soft to talk about the upcoming game Wildstar. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming, man. Appreciate it.
Well, I've got a few questions about the game. First off, instead of the usual MMO classes, Wildstar uses the so-called path system.
The links to those videos will be in the description below. They'll be ordered in the what to watch section of the description if you want to go and check them out. The what to watch section, that is annoying to say, the what to watch, but the what to watch section is just going to be when a load of videos come out. I will put up some recommendations of what I think are the most interesting or the most valuable for you guys to go out and see. So that's what that what to watch section was all about. But let's quickly move on before I have to say that phrase again. So in this week, well, last week we heard an interview with Jeremy Gaffney where he said something interesting about the payment model.
Sweet.
And payment model, still unknown or undisclosed?
It is undisclosed, but not unknown. I will say that it's a hybrid model. You know, we're not really going for a simple model.
Fair enough. Thank you for spending some time with us, Jeremy.
Well, the payment model then, the hybrid model, what could that mean? I must say, any interview with Jeremy Gaffney in it is definitely worth the watch because he just drops all of these random pieces of information in all the interviews that when I watched a 2-hour live stream, which I will talk about later on in the show, but there was a ton of developers and community managers and stuff within this live stream, and they were not saying about the raid bosses in war plots, and they weren't talking about the hybrid model, and both of those things Jeremy Gaffney has already just blurted out and just said is definitely within the game. So if you're ever looking to look for an interview for Wildstar, definitely look up Jeremy Gaffney, I must say. But tell us what you think about the hybrid payment model. I sort of think it might be a mix of subscription with a cash store, but but just keeping the subscription payment really low, and having maybe an optional subscription payment with a sort of free-to-play element, but you can optionally pay subscription and then get like a package every month from the cash store. I have no idea what this hybrid pay model is, and that's why it's unannounced, because you know, it leaves us to speculate, and we can probably give ideas to Carbine on what this payment model could possibly be. So your input is valid. The devs are listening, as they say in their dev speak. So go over to Twitter, go over to Facebook, and discuss these things, and on Reddit as well, because of course the developers look over on Reddit. So all of those things are good, and definitely discuss what you think the payment model is going to be. The stress test was on last week, and if you didn't get in, not to worry, to be honest, because it was a proper stress test. They did end up breaking the servers, so if you wasn't one of the first people in within the first few hours, you wouldn't have had the best experience. Apparently they did end up inviting tens of thousands of people because they couldn't quite get enough people in that they initially thought to break their servers, but eventually they did, and a lot of people ended up not being able to play apparently, and also the stress test actually ended earlier than expected. So a lot of hype for not much content for those people who actually did manage to get into the stress test. But of course we all have missed out on that opportunity for the future invites into closed beta, because if you did get into the stress test, then you pretty much have a guaranteed invite back to the closed beta as long as you kept trying to log into the servers. I'm sure they had some way of tracking those who were actually trying to help out with the stress test through all the disconnects and crashes and what have you. So after that epic drop of Path content news, the week following there wasn't as much news. I think they sort of calmed themselves down a bit, but we did get a cool lore post on the Luminai, who are the ancestors of the Dominion, and you get to see where they come from and how they have their elden blood within them. So if you're into the lore, that's an interesting post. And on the Friday of last week, there was a post on the economy, and how Carbine are looking at the economy in Wildstar and how they looked at it in other games. And it's a very interesting read if you're into that sort of stuff. I personally am the type of player who has no money. I can't make money, and generally I'm probably the person you're making your money off. So that's usually how I get into things, but hopefully in Wildstar I'll be the rich and famous, wondrous exile human, but who knows.
I'm just so excited! I think I might wet my britches. Uh-oh.
So to start things off, I want to talk about the Elden Games, which was hosted by Late Night Dominion. This was a community event to raise money for charity, and they actually raised $3,700 for Child's Play, so that's absolutely awesome. If you was there, I'm sure you would agree with me that it was a ton of fun. We got to play Team Fortress 2, League of Legends, Neverwinter Terror, and that was all with like the community, and some of the developers as well came along and had fun. So it was just a ton of fun and a privilege to play and get shot in the face with a sniper rifle and a bow by the Carbine developers. The Late Night Dominion guys are also going to be hosting a community town hall event where they're going to get select members from the community, that's guild leaders, podcasters, all sorts of people, to gather together in what they're calling the town hall to talk about the major topics to do with the game. And this is going to be sort of a big community event where they're going to talk about the games, talk about concerns, talk about different features, and of course it's all to do with giving feedback to the developers. So this is going to be the town hall, is going to be running through June the 5th to June the 6th, and they're going to have North American and EU meetings. So the details are on the forum post that you would see on your screen, and of course all the links are in the description as usual. Unfortunately, in my opinion, some bad news came from the community last week, well, a couple of weeks ago now, and it was leaks, more leaks, and it's kind of Carbine's fault, this one, I must say, because there's actually a public download for the game client right now. So anybody can go and download the game client if you know where to look. And somebody did this and data mined through all the files and folders that you get along with a client, and pretty much dug out the sort of new classes, the new races, or was it the races or just the classes? But they basically dug out a lot of unannounced information, and it's not official. They basically put up some screenshots of different pictures that were in these files that sort of gave names of different classes and showed all the UI interface for these classes. And obviously they're unannounced, so it was a bit disappointing because of course, I'm on the side of Carbine, and I agree with having a release schedule and to slowly build hype for a game, and because it leaves everybody speculating, and speculating causes discussion, and discussion allows Carbine to hear what's best for their game, because we give direct feedback that way. So it was a bit of a shame for me, but there was some more leaked information. Of course, I'm not going to show it on my show, but as it is big news, I did want to tell you guys. As I mentioned earlier, I watched a 2-hour interview with Carbine Studios done by the Opposition podcast, and this was a very, very long interview, of course, but it gave quite a few details and some interesting things. But as I also said earlier, Jeremy Gaffney's interviews gave a lot more details, and these guys felt a little bit more restricted in what they could talk about. So we didn't really get to hear any new information, but there was a lot of talk and discussion amongst information we know already. So if you did have any questions about anything that's been out, these guys pretty much would have talked about it and covered it in a lot more detail. Of course, they're also the Carbine developers, so they will know what they're talking about as well. And if you don't want to watch a 2-hour long interview, there is a Reddit post that was posted by somebody that covers pretty much all the key major points that the interview goes through. So of course, it's all in sections, so if you've got anything that you want to look at over there, it's all nicely laid out for you. So this brings us onto our community segment, and this week I want to talk about GamebreakerTV. These guys do tons of MMO focused podcasts. They've got one for WoW, for Guild Wars 2. They pretty much do a podcast for all the games that a lot of people are interested in, and they've decided to start one for Wildstar. So usually for Community Spotlight, I usually focus on less known sort of things, but GamebreakerTV, I've been watching their sort of podcast for a very, very long time now, and a lot of people sort of don't like the direction they're going in, but you know, this is a new episode 1, as you can see, so I figured if you guys don't listen to a podcast, then this would be a great place to start, since they've just started their own podcast now. So that's the Community Spotlight for this week. If you guys have any or know of any things that you would want to highlight in Wildstar Weekly's Community Spotlight, then there should be an email below where you can send your ideas in, or if you do something yourself and you want it to be highlighted on this show, I'm absolutely fine with anything that comes in. So just send what you want in the email and I'll probably highlight it on the show in the following week. Some of you may have also noticed that there hasn't been a speculation zone yet, and this week I'm actually going to leave it out. The way I usually do speculation zone, and the reason why I usually do it, is because I'm sure, like all of us, throughout the week I think about Wildstar and I think about all the stuff they've announced and the stuff that I think they could put in, and I generally just, my mind goes round and round and round thinking about different things to do with the game, and every now and then I'll hit a gem or I'll hit something that I think is really interesting and I'll think about it some more, and then I'll put together a speculation zone based on those thoughts. And as you know already, I've been very busy the last couple of weeks, so I haven't really thought about Wildstar or games all that much, to be honest, and I don't want to just do a speculation zone for the sake of it. So instead, I want to tell you guys about a new video series that I'm going to be putting out on my channel, which I kind of want your feedback on to see if you're going to like it or not. So the idea of it is that it's going to be called Dev Post, and it's a play on the words of the Dev Speak videos. And if you guys didn't know, WildstarCentral.com is the official forums for Carbine right now. So the Carbine developers use these forums, the Carbine community managers use these forums. So basically they're the official forums pre-release to Wildstar coming out, and the developers actually go onto these forums and respond to posts. They respond to discussions and stuff that are going on, and sometimes they make a post themselves, you know, just intruding or just, I don't know, just getting involved with the community. And a lot of the time it's always interesting stuff that they put up, and I know a lot of you guys who watch videos on YouTube might not go onto forums and such to get your information, and a lot of the times you guys probably miss things that get posted on forums that you would like to know about. So the idea of Dev Post is to take some of the interesting posts that the developers of Carbine, of Wildstar, have put onto Wildstar Central and talk about it. The inspiration for this show comes from Total Biscuit's Blue Please that he did with World of Warcraft. So if any of you are familiar with that, it's the same sort of setup where I take a post, I would read it through, and then we will talk about it after it's been read. Depending on the post, I might do a couple an episode, I might do one an episode. It all depends on how it goes. So that's the idea of it. I hope it sounds good. I'll probably do a pilot episode this week, and I'll put it up and see what type of feedback I get and decide to do it or not do it from there. So I hope it sounds good. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Make sure you tell me if you do like the idea of it anyway in the comment section below, and yeah, that's all I have to say on that topic. And to be honest, I think that brings us to the end of the last 2 weeks news. I do try to make these videos condensed and easy to watch and, you know, to go through. I don't try to make them lengthy. So I hope I've done this quite well, and I hope I haven't missed out on any news, because I haven't really been following Wildstar. I've sort of had to backtrack on the news quite a lot this week, so I do apologise if it hasn't been a good show this week. I'll be back on board, back on track for next week's show for sure. But guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.